Okay, everyone, it's time for another math lesson. We're moving on in our book. Today we're going to be talking about math topic 1-3 and our chapter question. So every day what we're thinking about is what are strategies for finding addition and subtraction facts? We haven't talked about subtraction much yet. It's coming, but we're trying to find ways that make it easier to add because we're going to start using bigger numbers. So today our essential question is, how can I make a 10 to help me add quickly? Tens are really great numbers to use because they're so easy to add with, and you'll see some examples of that today. So the strategy that we're going to use today is called the 10 frame strategy. These two rectangles with little squares in them are called 10 frames. Now, they're very easy to make. You can ask an adult to help you make one, or you can use the one that I'm sending home. The 10 frame is just as simple as it looks, and then you can just use your connecting cubes or pennies or checkers, whatever you have. You can even use Cheerios and another kind of cereal. One time I used Captain Crunch berries. Whatever you use, it's fine. So we have a problem here. 8 plus 5 equals blank. Well, we could do it the difficult, long way by counting 1, 2, 3, counting fingers and toes. But there's a much better way that we're going to learn. Watch this. We have 8 plus 5. We can put that in our 10 frames. We can show 8 in the 1 10 frame. Okay, we've got 8 blue ones there. And we can show 5 in the other 10 frame. Okay, so we've got 8 Cheerios or pennies or counters or cubes or Lego pieces, whatever you want, in the 1 10 frame and 5 in the other. And our strategy is to make a 10. So watch this. If we move 2 counters to fill the top 10 frame, we can make a 10. That's what we've done here. We've made a 10. And now we've got 10 on the top and 3 on the bottom. And 10 plus 3 is probably easier to add than 8 plus 5. So what is 10 plus 3? Good. It's 13. You see what we did there? We filled the top box, the top 10 frame, to make a 10. And then we just added what was left over. And you know what? The number of counters didn't change. I still have 5 red ones and 8 blue ones on here. Okay, let's try to make another 10. Okay, here's 9 plus 6. Well, again, you could use your fingers and toes and other ways to figure this out. Or what we're going to do again today is make a 10 frame. So I've got 9 blue ones and 6 red ones. Okay, you can see the 9 up top and the 6 on the bottom. And what do we want to do? We want to make a 10. So let's do that. We moved 1 to the top 10 frame and we made a 10. And what's left at the bottom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 left on the bottom. So now all we have to do is to solve 10 plus 5. And that equals 15. And our original problem was what? It was 9 plus 6. That's also 15. It's just easier when you make a 10. Okay, so this is how I want you to solve today's problems. do it making a 10 frame. If you already know all of your math facts and you can do it without the 10 frame, that's fine. But it's good to practice because you are going to see it on a test. Okay? All right, now let's see if we can get it explained by somebody else.
You can make a 10 to help you add 8. What fact do you see modeled here? The model shows 8 plus 5. Why might you want to make a 10 to add? Think about it. One reason is that 10s are easy to add.
Ha! That's what I said.
Move 2 counters to make 10. Look at the 10 frames. Why do you think 2 counters are moved? 2 counters are needed to fill the top frame to make 10. When those counters are moved, how many are left in the bottom frame? There are 3 counters left. Now add with 10.
10 plus 3 equals 13. So, 8 plus 5 equals 13.
How does knowing the sum of 10 plus 3 help you find the sum of 8 plus 5? The sums are the same. So, if you know the sum of 10 plus 3, you also know the sum of 8 plus 5. How do you know that the sums are the same? The total number of counters did not change. Only how the counters were grouped changed. Now you know that making a group of 10 can help you add more easily.
Okay, so now we're looking at the guided practice. It says make a 10 to add. Use counters and 10 frames. So our problem here is 7 plus 4. Okay. Well, we've got 7 in the top box and 4 in the bottom box. I'm calling them boxes. I should call them 10 frames. So what are we going to do? We're going to make a 10, right? So we're going to move 3 pieces up here to fill up the top 10 frame, and that's going to make this 7 into a 10. And because we took 3 away from the bottom 10 frame, we have 1. So now all we have to do is add 10 plus 1. And 10 plus 1 equals 11. But our original problem was 7 plus 4. 7 plus 4 is also 11. We didn't change the number of counters. Okay, this is a little tricky, but it's a really good skill, and we're going to be using it a couple of other times. So let's go on to the next part. So now we're looking at page 15 in the big book, and it says independent practice, make a 10 to add, use counters and 10 frames. Okay, if you have them, I think it's a good idea to make a 10 frame, ask mom or dad or a babysitter to help you. Okay, and like I said, I'm sending one home, so you'll have it soon, if you don't already. And for your counters, you can use anything. You can use Cheerios, pennies, Legos, whatever you have, or connecting cubes. So do numbers 2 through 10 like this. Then, there's that word algebra again. Which number is missing? Well, for number 11, it says 8 plus 5 equals blank plus 3. You can probably use 10 frames here to help you. Make 8 plus 5 in 10 frames, put an 8 in one 10 frame, and a 5 in another, and then make a 10. And you should be able to figure it out that way. This is for 11, 12, and 13. Now for number 14, it says higher order thinking. That always means it's going to get tougher. It says, can you make a 10 to help you add 7 plus 4 plus 5? Explain. Oh, you have to think about this. If you can't answer it, don't worry about it because I'm going to review all of these answers with you. But see what you can come up with. I'm really interested in seeing what you can do. And then we go to our hardest page yet. Number 15 says, Tan's team scored 16 points in a game. During the first half, they scored 9 points. How many points did this team score in the second half? Ooh, all right. Well, see what you can do with your 10 frames. Put 9 in one 10 frame and keep adding counters until you come up with 16. That's all the help I'm going to give you right now. Let's see if you can do it. And then, number 16 makes sense. The school has a clothing drive for charity. That means they're going to help people who need clothes. Anna's class donates 8 coats. Nico's class donates 5 hats. Adam's hats donates 8 coats. How many coats were donated in all? There's something tricky here. Make sure you read that question again. How many coats were donated in all? And you can use 10 frames to answer this one as well. Number 17. Is another higher order thinking question. So this is going to be difficult. It says draw a picture to show how you can make a 10 to help you add 3 plus 5 plus 9. Explain your picture to a friend. So see if you can make a picture that would show me how you would make a 10 when adding 3 plus 5 plus 9. Let's see what you can do. And finally, number 18, assessment practice, which means this might be on a test. Use the 10 frames. Show how to find 5 plus 7 by making a 10. Then fill in the gray boxes. So you can just do this with pencil. You should do all of this with pencil. All right, boys and girls, I know this is a challenging homework assignment. This is pages 15 and 16 in your book, okay? And I will check it and we will review it, okay? So don't worry if you couldn't answer everything. The end.